Leo Santa Cruz versus Carl Frampton and Andy Lee versus Danny Jacobs. Slated for late in the summer in New York City. So a pair of good fights, very good fights, very interesting fights for me. And I hope all the other boxing fans are watching this as well. Shout out to my cousin who actually broke the Frampton news. He quoted me in a tweet and let me know about the news. So big thanks to him. And we'll talk about Frampton versus Santa Cruz first. For me, Santa Cruz very underrated. I for one, I was actually not keen on the guy. Very low on him. I didn't think he had too much upside, especially after his defenses at super bantamweight and previous lighter weight classes. Um, Ever since then, he's really improved. Um, his performance against Abdamares really good, and yeah, I mean he's really pushed on. Really looked good in his last few performances. Looked devastating against Kiko Martinez. I know him and Kiko actually broke a record and got over 1,000 punches in 5 rounds, which was astonishing. So yeah, that's a really good fight for me. If I had to pick a winner at this moment, it'd be Santa Cruz. Frampton, he has looked good in the past, but in his last fight against Scott Quigg, uh, I think he was tight at the weight a bit, but I don't think he can live with someone like Santa Cruz, especially with the volume. I don't think Santa Cruz is a big puncher. Even in his burst, I don't think he's a big puncher. But he's definitely a pressure fighter and a very good pressure fighter at that. He He'll throw loads of punches in bunches. He'll really put you off your rhythm, and I don't think Frampton will be able to, deal with that and have the sort of time and kind of reserve his energy, sort of how he did against Scott Quigg, because Scott Quigg wasn't really throwing in the first 5 6 rounds. So it's quite. It may not be reminiscent of that fight, but I think if anything, Carl Frampton will be on the back foot trying to pick him off with a jab, trying to box his way in, and occasionally we'll see a scrap, and we'll see how it turns out. I think Santa Cruz just has the height, the reach, and the busier output. The busier style as well. I think he could cause Carl Frampton a lot of problems, and they're both undefeated. They both have a lot to lose. To be fair, so. It'll be in Santa Cruz's kind of adopted hometown, so he'll have that sort of advantage with his fans there, the Mexican American fans. Don't get me wrong, it'll be a really good fight. I'm really interested to see it. The main thing is, can Frampton keep him off or knock him out early enough and get his attention in the early rounds? Don't think that's the case. I'm not sure how his power will carry up to featherweight. I know that he's actually moving up and he's fighting for the WBA Super World Featherweight title, the real WBA title. And Abdamares is actually fighting for the regular title against Jesus Cuellar. So, yeah, I mean, there's a few good fights to be made there. I mean, Frampton's jumping in at the deep end at featherweight straight away. Personally, I would have liked to see him take a fight or two in the interim, and then possibly build up towards the Santa Cruz or Selby fight, or even a Gary Russell Jr. fight. But yeah, he's there or thereabouts, and you know, obviously he's not fighting Rigo next. He's not. I don't know about Shingo Week, his IBF mandatory, so we'll see where that goes from there. But good opportunity for Frampton, and let's see where he goes from here. Good opportunity for Santa Cruz to build on his name as well. So yeah, let's move on to Andy Lee versus Danny Jacobs. Good fight for both of them. I mean, Danny Jacobs is coming off a great win against Peter Quillen. First round knockout. I think he caught him very cold. Danny Jacobs, I've always been skeptical about. He's decent at a certain level, but when he steps up and he faces the elites, I mean, I did think Peter Quillen was pretty decent, but I mean, someone really elite. Of course, Golovkin. I think he would lose to Billy Joe Saunders, in my opinion. Those sort of people. I don't think you can hang with them. Canelo. But the people below them, the Andy Lees, the Quillins, the Sergio Moras, those sort of opponents, I think he could deal with them, and or he could at least be competitive with them as well. I know he had a bad knockout loss, his first loss against Dimitri Pirog. Pirog was actually really good in that fight. I actually watched that fight several times. Very, very good performance by Pirog. Shame he's actually retired now, but yeah, that was a devastating knockout loss for Danny Jacobs, who was a very decorated amateur coming on the way up, and was actually a heavy favourite to win that fight, even though Pirog was undefeated. And then obviously he's got knocked down hard by Sergio Mora, a very, very light puncher. Um, he's been hurt a few times. I think possibly against Jared Fletcher as well. He got hurt when he won the regular WBA title, which was vacant. So I don't think his punch resistance is great. I do think he's slightly tight at the weight. I know he comes in at about 175 come fight night, so he probably drains down quite heavy and rehydrates at least 15 pounds. So I do think he's slightly tight at the weight, but he's very jacked and muscular. So possibly that's kind of part of it. But he's a decent fighter. As I said, he's coming off a good win, and uh, he's got places to go. I think he said he wants to face Billy Joe next, or Golovkin. He hasn't really mentioned Golovkin, but that's a potential opponent if WBA are trying to amalgamate the belts. Canelo and Khan winner. There's potential. There's a lot of potential for Danny Jacobs if he does come through this fight. But don't count Andy Lee. I know he pretty much got scored by Billy Joe Saunders when he lost his WBO middleweight title. But don't count Andy Lee. He's a very competent fighter. He's got that devastating right hook. He's got good power, very good power. One punch knockout power to end the fight. And with Danny Jacobs' chin uh, and punch resistance, I definitely think Andy Lee can hurt him. And if he does, he can jump on him and pounce on him and try and stop him. Um, it's hard to pick a winner. Kind of how the first fight goes. The first fight that I mentioned, Santa Cruz and Frampton. I think I have an idea of where the fight's going to go. That's why I do slightly lean to Santa Cruz. This fight, I don't know how it will go. I don't know if Danny Jacobs will come in very aggressive or come in and box on the back foot. Same with Andy Lee. It could remind me slightly of the Korobov fight, maybe the John Jackson fight, where Andy Lee's losing quite heavily and he does come back and he stops Danny Jacobs. It could remind me of that, but at the moment, I'll sit on the fence on this one. I'll decide closer towards fight night. It's a very, very intriguing fight. I'm very interested in it, and it's definitely a good fight for both of them. As I said, Andy Lee, he's coming back off a loss, but he's going back into world title level, and that's the sort of thing that may motivate him and keep him going. He's not getting any younger, so he's trying to push and try and get a world title again. I'm assuming it'll be for the regular WBA title. So good fight for Andy Lee. Good comeback. I would have liked to see him fight someone slightly lower and just try and get his confidence back. But with Adam Booth, I think the tactics will be there as well. So he'll have a fair few things going his way. Really good fight, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see it. Hopefully, it's on the undercard as it's been mentioned a few times on Twitter. So yeah, guys, comment your thoughts. I'm really intrigued and interested to see what you guys make of these two fights. Really, really interesting. I will do a Golovkin versus Wade post fight review and talk about that fight in a bit more detail as well. Like and give a thumbs up if you enjoy the video. Subscribe and share so it gets out to our larger boxing audience. Tweet me, PM me if you have any questions, and I will be more than happy to answer them. And yeah, anything else, let me know. And yeah, take care, guys. Peace.